All right, hey guys, my name is Ace Reddy, and I'm here with James Wilder, Jose Alvarez. I've known these guys for forever now, actually. I know Jose through James. I think James messaged you saying you got to have me on your show. You messaged me, so we connected like that. And we're going to talk about something very important, right? Obviously, you see the news, see all the Corona scares, and everyone's scared, and the world is falling apart and everything. So we wanted to talk to you guys about number one, what exactly is going on, again, how to respond to it, and not panic is not really the best response. Like you cannot panic right now. You're just gonna get fucked if you panic. Sorry for profanity. I think you might have some of that as well, for your entertainment. And the third thing we're going to talk about is how it's affecting our business and how it's affecting internet marketing and different parts of it, including virtual summits, the coaching consulting industry, the info product industry, and also most importantly, e-commerce, because everyone's like, what's going to go on with drop shipping? Is it dead? Are we still going to get products from China? We're going to go into a multitude of different topics. And at the end, we'll show you how to capitalize on this opportunity, because whenever there's a disaster, there's a great opportunity. You can make a bunch of money with it if you know how to do it. And we want to show you exactly how to do it. So this is going to be fun. All right, guys. So let's start talking about. Let's actually go to James first, because I think he's the one with the most controversial thoughts about the whole Corona thing. So what do you think about the Corona thing, man? Like you placing onions outside your home right now? You half cutting them, just putting them there to see to prevent Corona. What's your strategy like?
Yeah, no. So my opinion with coronavirus is the same as my opinion with everything. Is that nobody has the right to have any fucking opinion. That's my opinion on all stuff, right? So it's like, and I don't want to make this too long, but kind of explaining how I've come to this, which is totally a detour. But so I grew up in the hotel industry from when I was 6, right? Like my grandparents ran a motel in like a summer resort town from when I was 6, so I was around it up until I was 18. I worked front desk during that time. I did all this stuff during that time. I went to Thailand for a year, but then I came back, and then I went straight back into the hotel industry, front desk management, all that sort of shit, until I
Mhm.
was 29, until I pivoted online. And everybody, all customers always had an opinion. They always acted like they knew more. They had something that they knew that you didn't know. And it's like, how could you possibly have more insight, more understanding of this industry than I do, who's been doing this for like whatever that was, 24 years or whatever, versus you who comes in here for a couple days, right? That's what I think about everything now. How can you possibly dispute experts? If there's scientists, if there's all these people who have committed all of their lives to this one thing, how can you then have an opinion based on like you watched YouTube for 3 days straight, and now all of a sudden like you're an expert on it? So that's what drives me crazy. So it's like all these people who are like virologists and all this sort of shit. So that's why I think everyone who's voicing an opinion with a lot of conviction, like it's okay to have an opinion, but if you're like have a lot of conviction behind that opinion and you're kind of like it's hard, like you're unwavering on that, like you're set, I think you're an asshole. And so, but with all that said, I think with people like ourselves who are experts at making money online and understanding how markets move and all those sorts of things and selling, then that's okay to be voicing opinions in that space and being like, hey, I can't tell you if you're going to survive coronavirus, but I can show you how to make money through this thing so that your family and you are financially secure. And I think that's kind of the only opinion that marketers should have on what's going on. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. So what kind of views do you have, Jose? I don't know, bro. Like I've never seen you post about it. Did you?
So I for those who know me, maybe they know that I'm actually in the survival and prepping niche.
Yeah.
So on that side, I've had like my peeps freak out way earlier than everybody else. So I've actually known about the corona and heard it like even before it hit like the mainstream media because everybody was talking about it. Um, I mean, I cannot agree with James more with, especially if your opinion contradicts the experts, you should really shut up and not say anything. But if you are going to have an opinion about it, is you just follow what the experts are telling you, and it drives me crazy because it not I see it with not just corona, I see it everything. Like everyone knows the better marketing strategy. Just started a business, and all of a sudden they know better than anybody else has been doing it for years. So that's kind of like my own pet peeve on that. On what I've seen with Corona, like first is I think nobody really knows. Even the experts are not sure. So your Facebook expert is not going to know more than than the CDC. So or whoever. But having said that, the ability that we have to run businesses virtually, run them efficiently, lean, without having, like if we're all of a sudden, I don't have to fire anyone, basically. I have my contractors, and so I'm running lean and having them busy. In the virtual summit, it's kind of blowing up because everybody's asking me, hey, I just got my event canceled. What do I do? So that in that way, it has affected positively, although I'm not really able to take on more work. But I think people should start take it seriously, not for themselves, but also like for the businesses, right? They need to like, what's your, are we that fragile that if you have to work from home, then your business is done? Like in that case, you need to like leverage, I think, the technology that we have, the options that we have now that we'd never had before, to really create something that, for a lot of people, this might be an opportunity, a blessing in disguise, an opportunity to, okay, let's unplug the old-fashioned way of doing things, and let's start kind of shifting and adding more things that may look into the future a little more, because we don't know what the economy, what anything is going to look like after this whole thing is over.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. I mean, the only thing I'd add to what both of these people said is the fact that I think there's so much talk about how it even came across, and there's some people saying it came through bats, and there's other people saying the Chinese government invented it or whatever the heck it is. I just think, I mean, I wrote a post too, but that was clearly for engagement. I just wanted to get a bunch of comments on it. I was like,
I love you do that too. I love that. I know half of the time I see your post, you're like, is he really? What is he doing? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just doing it to get engagement, right? Well, to get engagement. Number two, look, I was trying to influence people to do the right thing, and you got to know what's in their head to influence them, right? So I just wanted to see exactly what the confirmed opinion of the mass amount of people is. And everyone's so busy, they're like, oh, this is half of the guys that I see on Facebook, they're like, okay, this isn't even real. This is just a flu, it's being marketed, whatever. And I'm looking at the numbers, right? And it's crazy because everyone's like, oh, well, the flu kills more people. But I think one of the craziest things here is not the amount of people that it kills, but the speed at which it starts spreading, right? And the scariest part for me, honestly, is that it's spreading so quickly that if it continues to do so, there's not going to be any hospitals anymore treating people, right? And that's more scarier than the actual virus itself, even if it's not that dangerous, because it is causing a major problem. Now, with that said, the numbers also indicate a higher number of deaths. It's just going up and going up and going up. Now, there's obviously people that are going to say that the numbers are fake. I'm not even going to debate them. They can just look it up. But what I do think, however, about the coronavirus is people just like maybe shut up, man. I mean, they're just like, oh, hey, Corona is a scam. Well, there's like 11,000 people that died, and their families might pretty much disagree with you, unless it's really a scam and the numbers are invented, which I don't really think is the case. So
yeah, that whole stat, like I've heard, like, hey, more people die of car accidents than Corona. Like, well, more people drive than people being exposed to Corona drive. That's just numbers. Doesn't mean anything. It's just
exactly
a way to discard it. And like you said, like people who have been infected and have family, affected by it, they will disagree with you.
Yeah, plus there's been 120% increase in the amount of deaths, dude. Like that's no joke, right? Because the next thing you know, everyone has Corona. Half the world has Corona because it spreads so quickly. So yeah, I mean, I think that it is a serious problem, but I don't think there's necessarily a need to panic about it. I don't think you need to go ballistic about it. I don't, because someone posted a video the other day, forgot the dude's name, the conspiracy theorist, David Icke. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I don't really like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I know
like
him.
a fear monger, right? Like he's just like, it's a lot of fear disguised as the truth. A lot of times it's just not. He's just a publicity guy. And I just don't think there's a need for it. I just don't think, I mean, even if the world is ending, there's really not a lot that you and I can do about it, right? So just might as well just focus on things that we can control, which is our business, making money and doing things, and having fun, most importantly. Just follow the basic rules, stay home, stock up the hand sanitizers and the alcohol and the food and the toilet papers or whatever, and just chill. Like just make money or do something.
I
That's
think the big
that's what I think about it, man. I mean,
Yeah, I think Stefan Georgi, I think that's how you say his first name. Stefan Georgi had a really good post on it, and he was talking about how, the damage that's being done to the economy maybe doesn't require like this level of lockdown because, and he had some stats, and this is why I kind of think like it's really hard to have an opinion because there's so many things to consider. It's almost like it's impossible for the human brain to compute not just what's going to happen, but the effects, like the ripple effects of that thing. So he was talking about how something to do with like every tick up in percentage in unemployment results in like a massive amount of deaths and cancer, right? So it's like if this leads to like 20% unemployment, it's going to have like massive health effects alone, and it's actually going to lead to more people to die from a poor economy than it will the coronavirus itself. And so his point, and I don't know if this is actually accurate, this is just what he was saying. And so his point was like, it's going to get to a point where I might get coronavirus, but 100% I'm going to be fucking broke and have no money, and I don't even know how to put food on the table next month. So it's going to be like this weighing out, like, what am I supposed to do? I'm a young guy. The chances of me dying from this thing are super low. It's probably worth the risk for this economy to get back up and running, and let's run it. And if you're old, if your immune system is compromised, any sort of thing like that, then you have to quarantine yourself. You have to lock yourself up. But we need to keep this show running. And I'll say at the beginning of that post, I was like, oh, here's another asshole with an opinion. And by the end of it, I was like, that's a pretty damn fair point. Yeah, I agree with that. So, and I could be wrong. And that's my point is like, who the fuck knows? But it made sense to me.
yeah. No, that's true though. This actually, you know what? David actually had a pretty nice formula to solve it too. I was
What was
going,
that?
like this makes a lot of sense. So he basically said that, like in media buying, how there's whitelisting and blacklisting. So in media buying, it's like, okay, well, when you do network buys, you want to run a banner ad, you start whitelisting the websites you want your ad to be on. But the aggressive guys, they don't whitelist, they start blacklisting. So they're like, I don't want my ads to show up on these sites, but the rest of them can run it. So David wanted everyone to do sort of a blacklist method where everyone is quarantined and you only get out when you're safe. And I think that's a good way to do it. However, again, I'm no scientist, guys. I have no idea. I'm just a guy that makes money on the internet. I hope you guys we're probably the most valuable right now. People are losing their jobs, right? They're all home. A lot of people are isolated at home and they're freaking bored. So if you're bored, you might as well make some money instead of watching Netflix all day. So, yeah. Now, next, guys, let's talk about how it's affecting every industry. Okay, we'll start with James. How's it affecting the consultant industry, bro? Because I think you guys are making a lot more money now. I think I've read a post.
Yeah, I don't know if we're not making as much money, like, but we had a really bad day on like Sunday or something like that, like a really bad day, and we pivoted really hard. Like emails, ads, sales pages, everything got tweaked on the spot. Like this has been one of the busiest weeks that I've had probably in the past year of just tweaking everything that we have. And we picked shit back up again. And like, money's in the door. So it was really just the high ticket stuff isn't moving like it was because everybody wants to wait and see what's going to happen, right? So like the sales calls that were booked, they're not moving that quickly. But I think the sales pitch just needs to be tweaked because a lot of the stuff, like I see still a lot of ads and everything that are kind of like just acting like everything is normal with the exact same pitch. And it's like, no, like your market, the world is on fire around your market. And then you're being like, hey, do you want more leads? It's like, no, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, I can get you more leads with a system that's working right now while the world is crumbling. That's what they want to hear, right? They want to grab onto something that's going to save them through this chaos. And so that's kind of the the tweak that we've had. And I should clarify too, is that our offers that we're teaching people are working through this chaos. Like we sell the insurance system that helps insurance agents generate leads and grow. They're growing right now. So it's like we're in a really good position that the systems that we're teaching people are actually helping them through this chaos. And so we can then tweak that and bring that to the front end of our marketing, being like, yo, this is going to help you. There's another offer that we have that is essentially like rank and rent. Some industries in the rank and rent, because those are all like local, right? You're doing local marketing for businesses. Some of those industries are getting their asses whooped, right? Like dentists, all that sort of stuff, done. Like you don't go and market to them. But if you go and market for plumbers or something like that, they're recession proof. Someone has a flooded basement, they don't care that there's coronavirus, they're going to call a plumber. So that's still an opportunity for marketers to come in and help that person get more visibility, right?
Right.
So that's another offer that can help those people. So that's everything we've done. And the way that we've tweaked our offers, instead of what a lot of people are doing, which is like, oh, everyone's at home and everyone's got nothing to do, so let's just load them up with a bunch of content and here's an opportunity to learn. We've come out and we're saying like, here's a system that you can use right now that we're going to run you, essentially challenges that we're going to run you through, that by the end of it, we're going to try and put more money in your pocket by the end of this than you had in your pocket before everything started to fall to pieces. Like literally just trying to help people through this process. And so that's just, and I think that kind of goes back to like thinking, rather than thinking like a marketer, thinking like what is your market experiencing right now? What do they need? And then just giving that to them. And so, yeah, so we've managed to pivot and like pretty much get back to business as usual within like a couple of days by doing that.
That's pretty dope. I saw Mike Dillard is running an ad to a video too, and he's like, when everything gets tough, here's what you do, or something like that, and that's doing pretty good. It's everyone is sharing it, and this he didn't even shoot this video now. He shot this video a few years ago or something, and he's running ads to it. Everybody's sharing it. It's just awesome, man. You just gotta ride the wave. Just gotta ride the wave. Now,
right. I was gonna say that's because he was in like, what was it called? The
elevation
group or something. Yeah, right. Because that was all prepping. That was like getting your money stored in gold and all. That was in 2011. So if you listened to Dillard, you would have missed out on like the longest bull run of all fucking time because he thought everything was gonna collapse. But anyways, yeah, it's served its purpose 8 years later, so that's cool.
I think honestly, I think Dillard's probably one of those marketers that just knows how to ride a wave extremely well. Like even with the whole magnetic sponsoring thing, from what I've heard, because I wasn't in the industry then, I've read magnetic sponsoring. I've like read their sales letters. I tried to duplicate the sales letter. I tried to write my own version of it. But he's always been the guy that's riding waves. So when the whole MLM thing sort of started crashing down, the guy just gets in and he's like, hey, here's magnetic sponsoring. Everyone hates doing the prospecting thing. Here's what you do instead. And everyone's like, oh, Mike is a god. And then he gets in with the elevation group and he's just like, oh, well, everything's going to die and everyone's going to die. There's going to be this chaos. You're going to survive because you bought this course. So yeah, he's pretty smart at that style of marketing.
When you get the fundamentals, that you just get it. Like, it's just like, if there's that sentiment in the market, if you're a marketer, then you're just tapping into that and you're honing it to be like, okay, well, this is the offer that's going to solve that problem. And that's kind of that's what I was talking about. Like, instead of learning a bunch of different fucking things, just like understand the fundamentals and think like your market, and you'll
exactly
get through it. Provided that the whole world doesn't burn down with this,
Yeah, as long as you have the internet and as long as people are willing to buy something, you're good. Now, you know what? The guy that is probably in the best position right now is probably Jose. I mean, think of it. All the summits are canceled, right? Everyone's resorting to virtual summits. Shit, I mean, me too. And also, he's also in the survival niche. He's also in the prepping niche, which is also something people are very much buying right now. So, dude, what do you think about the whole deal? How's this been for you?
It's been kind of weirdly lucky because you're right, like a lot of people are becoming preppers now, but also a lot of people are shifting to online events, to online, from in-person services to online. And we found, and the the thing with Virtual Summit, they do take a lot of time to produce. So we have clients that already have set up for the next, 3 to 4 months. So we're having to turn a lot of people away to do that stuff for them. So we're basically kind of creating this network of people that we know, hey, they can produce a summit for you, and then try to connect those people together to basically giving the overflow to them. Because right now it's like, madness. So we're getting, and then not only people that get their events canceled, but people who teach in person. Like, just think about like anything that's a gym, anything that's kind of even massage therapists and all those people that can't really work or do anything. Like, they shifting from the doing the services to the teaching how to do things, like rather than going to the restaurant. I have a friend who has a restaurant, and what they're going to do, they're going to start to reveal the recipes and actually start like a cooking show and start like a cooking like setup for people. Because two things you got to understand, like, your audience is also going through all these emotions and all these things. So what is your service in the in the scale of how important they are to how, and then also how much top of mind are you? Like, if you're the person that gives them a break because they're watching a cooking show, guess what? When things come out of we come out of these dark ages, you're going to be in their mind. They're going to appreciate that. And that's something that you can easily shift to an online platform, to an online event, to an online type of setting. Like, we've seen a lot, like, again, for us, it's like, it's hard because we've had to turn a lot of people away that we would normally work with if we had another 3 months, because because the thing is, they need events done quickly, and I just don't have the bandwidth to. I mean, we could start hiring a lot of people, which is kind of what we started to do, but other than that, we just can control how quickly they need their events done. So in that sense, it's become interesting. The preppers, that's another, I've seen funnels convert better now than in the past, just because of where we are mentally. I know this is temporary as well, so I'm trying to maximize a lot of that without being, too crazy about it. But I think, and what I'm seeing is, and I did a workshop, like a free workshop for my local business here in town and in Connecticut, the town I live in. Just posted in a group and did like a free kind of workshop of, hey, these are the things you could do to shift. Can you break down your services and your processes into steps, or into what areas of your service can you still deliver online, and what things you were doing that now you can teach to your audience. Like a massage therapist that we have is basically saying, hey, we can't get a massage, but you could do these 4 or 5 stretches at home to alleviate X part of your body, so that you normally would take a massage, you could do these things to make it feel better, and things like that, right? They can't do it for you. They can't, but they can help you through some of those. And those kind of things have been like some of the things that we're seeing. It's tough though. I know it's not going to be for everyone, because you have your business. Like, if you go downtown to any small town here, you have your crafts and arts shop and your little brewery and all these like in-person, like physical stuff location that you can't really sell if you're not in the store, unless you create an online store and go through the whole process. But that's, nobody's really going through that right now as of right now.
Gotcha. So business has been pretty good for you then.
It's interesting. I mean, I hate to admit it, but it's been, it's kind of a wave that's happened. It's on both fronts, which is the interest. I feel like right now, I feel like the smartest guy alive, because I'm like, it's just lucky. It's just the guy happened to be in this spot between the two markets that are in high demand. So,
right. And the funny thing is, I never really thought the whole survival niche would actually be that big, man. I mean, I always assumed that the survival niche was based on fear, and I always thought it's just paranoia, but shit, never know.
You never know. And eventually some of those conspiracy kind of make sense. You're like, oh, this Corona thing is actually could look ugly, right? So, and what I've seen with that is like my preppers, normal prepper, they're kind of like sitting back saying, I told you so type of thing. But like what we're seeing is a lot of new leads and then new people coming in. And like, I have a funnel about like how to grow food and how to like store food and the food that you need to get in the store so that is long lasting storage. Those offers just like we're getting leads for 10, 20 cents.
Right,
So
and I think the survival niche now has a very good future too, because now everyone's seen what could happen, and they now know that the conspiracies could come true. So
it's
now
not
everyone's
just theory. Yeah.
a lot more, and everyone's gonna just be a lot more paranoid than they were before. You
Yeah,
know,
it's not just theory anymore. It's not this Red Dawn concept anymore in the movie. It's
yeah.
actually happening.
Because I mean, dude, you tell me like 6 months ago that this shit was gonna happen. We're gonna be a lockdown mode and stuff. I'm like, nah, man, you're joking. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not
in
gonna happen.
even even
Just
even
2 months
even
ago, I told you.
February, like 2 months ago, like early February, I was in an event in New Orleans. It was like nothing. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Two
And
things
now,
to what you said, Jose, was I was going to say two things. One would be I think one, actually, if you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen the Mark Cuban's thread on LinkedIn. So what he's done is he's posted post your offer down below pretty much, post your business. And he's personally going through and giving people ideas on how to survive through this thing, like how to pivot their businesses. It's at like 7,500 comments from when I last remember. So I was just thinking, one thing you said about gyms, I've never paid a personal trainer or anything like that, but right now, I'm just coming up. I've been going to the gym for like 3 months, 4 months, and now I'm already starting to feel like the motivation wane. Right, every morning I was working out, and now I'm like, I'll get to that workout later. So if someone scooped in with an ad right now that said hey, your motivation is waning, don't get off this thing. I'm going to help you personally. We'll get on Zoom calls and I'll get you through your workout so you keep that motivation going, don't lose your gains. That's like an ad angle right now that would totally resonate with me, and I bet that would resonate with a lot of people, because it's fucking hard to work out at home. It's like you see your TV, there's like a comfortable chair sitting there, and you're like, fuck this. But if you're at the gym, it's like everybody else is working out, so it's just the environment that gets you going. And then the other thing I was going to say to what you said, Ace, about how you didn't realize that the prepper market was so big. Remember when Justin Brooke was talking about 10,000 leads a day that he was producing?
Yeah.
That was prepper. That was in the prepper space, which I didn't know. That was for our company, Jose. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, I didn't know that. What's his
did.
name told me? Won't throw
Mike?
his name on you. Oh, no, Mike didn't tell me. It was someone else.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he told me. And he was saying the IM market, you can never do that because you'd saturate it. But the prepper market is just so big that, yeah, you can survive. But the prepper market goes through waves because when Trump got in, that market wasn't scared anymore, right? They thought
I saw in 2000 right after the election in 2017, it was crickets.
yeah.
People are just bailing, doing other things, and I mean, I stuck around because it wasn't my a side hustle always. It wasn't my full thing, but yeah, I see the benefit of sticking around, I guess, since through the cycles.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point too, because of how Jose got into prepping was the virtual summit, right? Wasn't the whole idea? It was the
virtual summit. It was the Prepper World Summit. Yeah. That's how I got into it.
You had no experience in the prepper niche, and then the virtual summit allowed you to attach to other people's authority and kind of springboard yourself into the space.
Yeah, all I needed to do was know the questions to ask, basically.
Right, which is a really smart idea. If you're in, because we did another call like this for kind of our group, and a lot of people were still grabbing onto their industries, my industry is crumbling and I'm fucked, and it's you have so many skills. Figure out a way to use your skill and springboard yourself into another space right now that's going to benefit. And using a virtual summit would be the easiest way to do that right now. If you went and tapped in to all those experts that are struggling and be I'm going to show you how to still prosper in this, use their authority to bring yourself into their space, and you've started a whole new business within 2 weeks. That's
it doesn't take. It doesn't take too much time. I mean, the longest thing it takes is coordinating interviews and doing the interviews, but everything else is you could do in a week. You need promo and whatnot, but you could put one together fairly quickly if you have the lined up all the experts lined up. And you're right, you don't need to be an expert. You just, even if you have somewhat of a skill or a hobby, to the prepper. I mean, I'm not a prepper. It was more of a kind of interesting market hobby to me. And then it kind of became, I can actually, I'm decent at interviewing, so I could write this. So that was kind of how I stuck with it.
I was going to say, Jose doesn't refer to, because me and him, we both worked at the prepper company. That's how we know each other. And so I asked him, like, are you a prepper? And he's like, no. And I'm like, do you have a bug out bag? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you're a prepper. That's like
I'm a soft prepper. Yeah.
Probably has a bug out bag.
It kind of reminds me of those affiliate marketing days, like I used to message my affiliate managers and I'm like, you using any of these pills? And they're like, oh, fuck no. I'm like, well, any of the company founders using any of these pills? They're like, oh, hell no. I'm like, well, why are we selling them? They're like, well, it's profitable, so you just got to sell them. So I think a lot of times, even some of us, right, we sell stuff, we don't use them sometimes. Now, I mean, that's really why I left the affiliate marketing business too. There's people selling adult pills. I'm not going to say the word here on video, guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the net. So there's people selling adult pills, diet pills, whatever. It's bullshit. They all know it's bullshit. It's just profitable. So they're like, oh, let's just push a bunch of volume into it. Now, the two things I know that do sell a lot is fear and hope. People are going to pay for fear to avoid fear, and people are going to pay for hope, right? So it's like, if you're in any market, I don't care what market you're in, people are going to buy a course just for these two reasons, right? They don't want to buy a course because they want to watch 17 modules. They want to buy a course either because they don't want to go fuck it up on their own. They want assurance that they're not going to fuck it up, so they're going to watch a course, or they think that they're going to get better results once they watch a course. So it's, again, it all goes down to fear and hope. And I think survival niche is one of those niches that tackles both of them at the same time, right? So it's like people get to avoid fear because they're pre-prepped, and they get the hope that they may live a lot longer than the non-preppers. So it's kind of like a cult on its own.
One thing you were saying, like, people are not really interested in buying information. So if you just put like James was saying, a bunch of random information out there, no one's going to care. Like, information is out there. Go to YouTube, and people want clarity and steps. They want to know what to do and how to do it. Like, they don't need 1,000 ways to to drive traffic to a website. They just need something they can use and easily deliver, and kind of step system, something that is more A to Z to B, and keep going down the steps, and then clarity on like what I need to do. Otherwise, you're just throwing information at them that's not going to consume or not going to get. It's just going to sit on their digital shelves, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like if you're selling something right now, like make money online, the big objection that you're facing is like, that worked before the world crumbled, right? So you have this major objection, and I know that there's people out there that are like, they feel like they're on their high horse, like, I'm not going to use coronavirus to market my products. And I would say that you're an asshole if you don't use the coronavirus to market your products, if you can help the person. So right now, it's like, it kind of feels like someone has a gun to their head right now, and you're being like, hey, you want more leads, right? And it just doesn't, they just won't respond to that message right now. I mean, maybe some people are making it work because, again, to have an opinion with absolute conviction drives me nuts, because maybe people are making it work. It didn't work in our marketing campaigns. Like, our marketing campaigns that were speaking without acknowledging coronavirus pretty much grinded to a halt pretty quickly. So, and it wasn't until we pivoted that everything kind of blew open again.
I mean, is that right the way? I mean, I don't see anything wrong in sort of capitalizing on opportunity, right? What I do think is stupid is if people are profiteering from it. It's like they're selling masks at like $200 or whatever just because they're rare. Right. I think that's a bit scummy. I think that's a scummy move,
And the masks don't even work. Like, you see all those, like, apparently those don't even work. Only like the N95 ones or whatever. Yeah. Which I know that Jose knows what I'm talking about right now.
I have no idea, bro. I don't wear a mask.
It looks like you have a prepper bag on right now, by the way. It looks like you're just ready to spring out the door.
Me?
Yeah, it looks like you got a prepper backpack on.
I actually have a kit on me.
Oh, she's holding prepper supplies, though, isn't she?
She's like, I got you.
Yeah.
Is this all like kids are, I mean, I'll do this a weekend, but it's been crazy because the kids are home too. You're like running into the shot any given time.
Well, thanks for doing this virtual summit, man. It's pretty cool. You had your kids on you. That's commitment right there. Yeah. Well, I mean, another thing I've actually learned over the last, I think, 6 months now, actually, is the importance of keeping things simple, right? Because I think I remember when I and James were running that webinar, and he got some slides together. I would criticize every slide, right? And I'm like, okay, you know, we got to put some more details in there. I got to put more information in there. I got to put this in there. I got to put that in there. And these webinars never converted because there was way too much info on them, right? So it's like, you know, do the webinar and everyone's like, oh my God, like I got to do all of these things now. I'm not going to do it. One thing I realized over the last 6 months of being a social media influencer actually is to keep things extremely simple and figure out the one major point and just get to that, right? So it's whether you're in the survival niche or whatever, have one core message and attack that, you know, and this is applicable to every niche. So right now, for example, if you're going to be in the market and you're going to talk about, oh, you know, buy leads, here's how we get leads during coronavirus, and you're also having like 7 different messages at the same time, people are not going to take you seriously. But if your core message is get leads during the corona time, right? Or even, for example, it could even be a big idea. Everyone's home right now. Let me show you how to build an e-commerce business. Something like that, right? Just one core idea. I think that is way better, man. I've been studying some political campaigns too, and one of the things that I've realized these guys do is they never tell you how they're going to do something. It's always, oh, we're going to do this for you, this for you. No one ever tells you how they're going to do it. There's no plan. There's no strategy. You ask them if there is a strategy, they'll make some bullshit up just to anything that seems simple and good.
But no one really cares if you think about it either. Like people on the receiving end, they don't actually care how they're going to do it if they're going to do it. Like, so it's part of it. It's brilliant marketing because we can teach you teach you what to do or how to do it. But at the end, like you just want it done, right? Which is a really interesting lesson.
I mean, I was talking to Blake Newbar about it, and he had a great point about it. He's like, you shouldn't let people think, because the moment they start thinking, they start logically looking at everything. They're trying to break everything down and see if it logically makes sense. You don't want them to do that. You just want them to be emotional, which explains how he sold a bunch of product, and people didn't even know what it was. You know, they bought it, and they're like, what is this? Like, I would get messages from people saying, okay, what is this product?
Nice.
Even work. Nice. Like, Jesus, man, like that's really good selling.
That's what Agora and all those guys are doing. Because if you actually look at their sales letters, they never, if Agora ever, or any of those financial publishers ever told you actually what you're buying, you would diffuse all of the tension that the sales letter built. Because it's like, you know, I always go back to the piggyback on Canadian Social Security, right? That was dividend checks. But if they would have told you at any point in that sales letter that it was about dividend checks, it would have been like, it would have bombed. So you don't actually know what you bought until you gave them your $49, right? Like that's their entire system.
$1,500, you know, but same thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I think at the end of the day, I don't think people necessarily care what they're buying. Yeah, I don't think they do. I just think they care about the end result. So it's like, whatever is going to help me make more money, whatever is going to help me survive better. Again, it goes back to fear and hope. So it's like, how do I avoid fear? How do I get more hope to do something better? And that's all they're buying. And every time you go into the specifics, you just tell them how hard it is. And you just kill their hope, right? You essentially kill their hope. And it just makes selling that much harder. And again, I know like I'm one of those guys that, you know, has a huge problem with this, like, you know, making bold claims and not really showing them how to do something, because I think it's a bit weird. But still, even me these days, especially, I'm trying to convince myself that it's much more helpful for people when I don't do it, when I don't go into the specifics everywhere. Because the moment I start going into the specifics, start talking to them about dropshipping from China, you know, here's how you do the e-packet thing, everyone's like, oh my God, this sounds complicated, I'm not going to do it, even though it really isn't, right? Even though it isn't, it just seems complicated. Might as well get them in the course and then give it to them, because then at least they'll take action on it. And I get
Boiler Room too is like, because you know Boiler Room, I don't know if you know Jose, but like kind of like we have the continuity offer. And one of the reasons that I'm like so confident that I can sell it is because of Rob. Sounds like this is a pitch. This isn't a pitch. But yes, the reason I'm so confident, like I'll say whatever the fuck I need to say to sell it, because I know once you get to Rob, he's going to be like, he's going to give you so much accountability and hand holding to get through everything that you need. It's like, give them what they want, or tell them what they want and give them what they need, right? It's kind of like the bait and switch. It's the same as like the pickup industry, which I kind of don't really have a problem with. I never studied it or looked at it or anything like that, but it's like, what you're doing is you're taking a 21-year-old dude who's terrified of talking to girls. And instead of telling them, hey, you need personal development, you're telling them, I'm going to show you how you can go pick up a bunch of hot chicks, because that's what they want. And then when they get in there, you're like, here's a bunch of personal development so you're not a little bitch and you're too scared to talk to a girl, right? And it's like, that's the way that it has to be structured in order to make the sale. So it can seem really sleazy and everything on the front end, but if you can truly help people, it's kind of like you need to pull out all the stops that you can to get them to buy.
Yeah. I think it's just about being ethical, man. I mean, you got to deliver on your promises, right? So if you're going to tell someone you're going to make the money, you might as well try to make the money. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? So like, for example, like you promise them a course, you give them the course. You teach them exactly what they have to do. If they don't work, that's on them, but you got to do your job there, right? Now, lots of gurus don't even do that, which is sad, but this is sad reality. Know who you're buying from. But yeah, I mean, look at some of the best marketers, bro, like Adrian Morrison, all these dudes. You never get the specifics on their webinars. They're never really teaching you stuff. It's all about, oh, here's how much money I make. And even the whole, like, I know everyone in the industry is like hating on Lambos and, all that sort of flashy stuff. It converts. And if it didn't convert, nobody would be running it, right? So the only guys hating on that sort of stuff are the guys that have been in the industry for 8 years, bought every course from a guy that has a Lambo. And now they're like, oh, all these guys are rip-offs, so I'm just going to hate on everyone that has a Lambo or whatever.
But it's also more marketing, because they're just appealing to their avatar who hates seeing that shit, right? So it's like we do marketing for an older guy who's not an older guy. I don't want to say that, but like he's not in that world, right? He's just like this really kind of like father figure kind of dude. So like, of course, that's what our marketing is going to say is like, screw those 20-year-old somethings who don't know anything about life, who just think it's all about Lambos and mansions, right? Like that's just so, and that's kind of the derailing thing, but that's kind of the thing is like being a copywriter is like you say one thing over here and then all of a sudden to say something else to sell another product, you say completely something different. You make the argument for that, it's like
the counter argument. Yeah.
It's all about the audience.
I totally interrupt you.
Yeah, my favorite ad from Agora actually is the dirty rotten no good scumbags or something like that, and he goes to talk about everyone's scumbags and whatever. I've tried it. I made a bunch of money with that angle. Right now, thanks to Jose for showing me that angle, because if he didn't show it to me, I wouldn't know it. So I used it, I tested it, I made a bunch of money from it, and I'm like, shit, this angle works. I converted that into a sales page. Now I didn't really run any traffic to that, so I don't know what happened to that, but yeah.
One thing that I'll say with that, I'm almost cringing as I'm what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like with the Agora financial model, over the last couple of years hadn't been hitting to the same batting average they used to. I think they're about to get a whole better right now with this everything that's happening right now. I think those angles are going to start. You're going to start seeing a lot more of those angles, not on Facebook because they get nixed, but elsewhere and like with all the media buy-ins and email. So study those over the next couple of months, or if you can, because I know like some of those angles, like you say, Ace, you can repurpose and not make it sound as crazy and scammy, but there's a reason they're good at what they do. There's a reason what they do with those things. So it's a good kind of reading material if you're looking to model after some, because they do test a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely.
I know. Probably James. I don't know if you have more comments on that, because I know you have some insight onto that world as well.
Yeah, they're Matt. So I wrote some financial publish. Like I wrote for a financial publisher, and it was like a whole level of intensity that I have never experienced at any sort of copywriting gig. Like just to come up with the big idea. Like they paid me just to come up with the big idea, and then the copy chief and both owners reviewed like 20 big ideas, picked the ones they liked, and then I went and rewrote those ones. And then once we had that hammered out, only then did I go and actually write the sales letter. Like that's, nobody else is doing that, right? So they're so obsessive about that. So then the way that I look at it, because I don't want to, I don't emulate exactly what they're saying or take the same approach they do when I'm writing for other markets and stuff. But what I've shown is like, you can break down their copy. So if you take the way that they're saying something and then you go like, okay, so they used FOMO here, then they pivoted into hope, and then a big promise over here. And you can break it all down, and then you can just write to those exact areas just the same. So it's not like you're not taking what they said and then removing a word and then dropping it in. So it's not like you're completely stealing it, but you're swiping the framework. And that's why and that's one of my big kind of opinions on copy is like, it doesn't need to be that complicated because it can be as simple as what I just described. So that would be a big way that I would look at studying like a word.
Now, the other great objection there is probably that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to steal anything. I want every bit of my content to be unique. I want everything to be original. I want everything to be written on my own or by a copywriter, and I don't want to swipe anything. Well, if you're going to pay a copywriter to write a piece of copy for you, he's probably swiping something, because there's so much copy out there that there's no reason not to. Like you come up with a big framework and you're probably going to read like 100 different sales letters. You're like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. Just package it together, guys. I don't understand this industry's need for original stuff, right? Like even any course, honestly, there's no original stuff anymore. And then the only original stuff you're going to find is by a dude that really is just making stuff up to seem like he's doing something different.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, Facebook ads, here's how you look at it from a 17 different perspective and whatever. Because it's really down to the basics. The only reason people buy courses is because they want that additional help. And if they're going to run into trouble, they want someone to like fix it for them sometimes. Or, maybe they just want to learn the framework and learn how it works. But like, there's nothing different about anything, even copy or whatever. I mean, dude, I write a bunch of copy on my Facebook. It's very rarely original content. One of the things I do the most, honestly, is I go back to like my copy from last year. I just take that and repost it, and it still gets me sales. Like I just copy paste it. And people don't remember that copy anymore, so they're like, oh, you just buy something from them. And I don't think you need to do everything on your own, guys. Like just make money. Like just focus on getting results. Focus on making money. Don't focus on getting everything done a certain way. I think that's just stupid. What do you guys think about it? Because you guys are professional. Well, James is a professional copywriter. Jose just studies a bunch of copy. I think you write are you a professional copywriter too? Or
I've written a ton of copy. I would never say I'm a professional copywriter because I never start with a blank template. I never start with a blank page. I always start with it's kind of a process of, big idea and then try to hit some of those things, but it's never, I've been hired through Summit Production and it includes copy and all that, but it's never been, I wouldn't say I'm a professional copywriter. It's also a lot of work, which, the research alone, it just kills me. So.
Right. Yeah. So with copy, like with taking frameworks, I mean, when you're hiring a copywriter, there's probably a good percentage of copywriters now that are like pretty much plugging your shit into funnel scripts and like letting it spit it out and then like reworking it and everything nowadays. But even if you look at like the top copywriters, like if you look at it from the perspective of swipe copy, well, a lot of them are taking like pretty much a big idea, even like top copywriters, and like pretty much just dropping their offer into that big idea. So it's a lot of the times it's a lot more copy paste than maybe a lot of people are agreeing like would think. I don't like when people like, there's a big ClickFunnels dude, I won't say his name, but pretty much jacked our entire ad, like the entire lead of our ad, almost verbatim the whole way through. And I don't even know if he really pivoted at any point. I think it's pretty much just our ad. Like that's bullshit. But if he went and said like, oh, okay, opened with an open-ended question. Okay, so I'm gonna, dude, I did this with the 5-minute VSL from Brian Moran just now. So which is selling the VSL. So this is probably like the sleaziest version that you could do of this because he was trying to sell me on the thing, but I just ripped the framework off of the VSL he was using to sell it with. So it was like, okay, open with an open-ended question. Then he pivoted into how he's got an open-ended question that's like is a problem, right? So like, are you struggling to X sort of idea? And then he pivots into talking about how he's got a secret that solves that problem. So you can see that there's just this framework that's automatically built into it that you just take that and then what I'll do is I'll just go into Google Docs and be like, okay, open-ended question that's problem situated. He talks about how he has a secret, and then I just fill my own copy into that, and that's it. So it's like I didn't really steal anything. It's just I took that framework. And even if you don't want to do that, you can go use like Perry Belcher's 21-step sales letter. There's like so many sales letter templates out there. Or you could just do copyboarding, which is where you take all the objections. So you take your offer, or whatever action you want them to take is here, and they're here. And then you reverse engineer what are the objections that they're going to have before they take this step. And then you just write copy based on that. So it's like, I don't know who the hell you are. That's an objection. Okay, I've sold $10 million worth of shit online. Okay, tell them that story. And then you just keep walking them step by step until they hit that action, and they take it. So if you want to be like, that's the most original version of copy that you can produce if you want to.
Right. So in this present condition, right? So with the whole coronavirus and thing, tell you what, just give us 3 major ideas that you would play with. If let's say we were selling let's say you were selling my ecom course, what are the 3 major ideas that you would play with?
Yeah, I don't know, like with ecom, because I haven't been watching it. I know that shit's kind of like falling apart with Facebook or not Facebook, with Amazon crushing you and everything like that. So I don't know how that would work, but really the message that I just keep pounding home is showing that this is a system that works. The promise that I would normally make is a promise that is still working through this disaster. That's pretty much what it is. So you can make, whatever your original promise was, you make $10,000 a month with an e-commerce business, how to make $10,000 a month with an e-commerce business while the world falls apart around you, right? Like I pretty much said that exact same thing. I wrote 3 emails for something we're selling, and we've sold 100 copies of it in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, just by just by hitting the fact that it's coronavirus.
Yeah.
And it's a solution.
On the side note, there was kind of I don't know, what do you call that? What is that? A conspiracy hint or something with Jose's coffee cup? Because there was the viewers are going to figure it out. You could probably watch the video later to see what I'm talking about. I don't exactly know what you call that though. Is that like one of those things where someone puts a pyramid in there or some shit? What is that thing called?
Oh, a subliminal message? Did he just
message, Yes, there's a subliminal message over here, and if you guys, there you go.
The bat signal.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell everyone that you're the hero?
Yeah. Now it's not so subliminal anymore. So
yeah, I should have left over here.
Yeah. So guys, so moving forward, right? So what do you guys think that someone should start now? What kind of businesses do you think that someone should start now in this present situation that are going to be extremely profitable?
So as far as extremely profitable, I don't know, obviously, but I would say like anyone who has a business that they currently serve, just break that business down into what is the process, break down those processes as, what do you deliver, break down those processes and see what part of those can you deliver virtually. Like when you ask for the e-com, like you can, like this is someone who has a brick and mortar store. It's really tough right now, but you can still ship things. You can still like create some sort of like, hey, just do a virtual tour of our store. Hey, this is what we have, and just try to generate things on online if you're not online. And I don't know what the protocol is to ship things these days with the coronavirus and thing, but those are, and one thing that I've seen people do is when they, like people that have service type of businesses, is doing like, because ultimately the main problem is going to be cash flow right now. So if you can get people to prepay you for your services in the future, that would generate some cash flow. Like run your own Groupon type of deals. Hey, restaurants or like massage therapists or anyone who has that kind of service, but also look at opportunities. Say, okay, if you have a restaurant, it's like, can I start a cooking show where I actually reveal my recipes here and actually teach people how to do these things at home? Like those are things that a chef can do, right? If you're a chef, so think about ways that you can like flip the model from delivering service and delivering goods to teaching how to, and teaching options and teaching like how to do alternative for your audience, for your clients around their delivery, right? Because if you're a massage therapist, what's the delivery that you providing? Comfort, providing kind of like a soothing of a pain. So stretching exercise, and what things can they do to manage that? So just make sure that you do that, because if you do that now, the awareness and the type of kind of commitment and connection you're going to generate with your audience it's going to pay back in the future. It's going to pay back long term when things kind of normalize again, whatever that means.
Right. Lots of valid points there. Cash flow, definitely. And even if you guys run an info product business, you should definitely stress on that word right now. Because,
Yeah.
because everyone's worried about it. They don't even know, a lot of them don't even know if they're going to keep their jobs anymore.
Yeah. Well, example, like in the purpose space, like we used to sell a lot of like gear and a lot of affiliate offers with knives and backpacks and water bottles and things that are actually physical. We've seen a lot of a shift from those type of products into more of like information, training, courses, skills type of thing in the last couple of weeks.
It's a golden opportunity for everybody. If you choose to
I
capitalize.
think so. Yeah. Because it's like everybody's down. It's like, it's a matter of like who can get up first or who can get up quicker and who has the tools and the kind of the direction. And for you, if for anyone selling marketing and business info, if you can give people clarity and a system, forget all the 20 video modules you can create. Like it's about what you can help them with and the accountability and the implementation rather than how many videos they can watch in an hour.
Right. On the side note, guys, I actually forgot to talk about the e-commerce space. Now I was supposed to talk about the e-commerce space. I forgot to talk about it. Here's what's going on in the e-com space. Funny thing is China is actually doing pretty good. They've fixed their backlogging problem. So now there's not a huge backlog anymore. And they're actually shipping products out pretty quickly. And everyone else is like, oh, China is probably destroyed. Dropshipping from China is dead. They're probably working the best right now, honestly. The US suppliers are pretty good. I mean, they're okay. They're not the best, but they're okay. They're doing well. European completely messed up. So if you guys want to start an e-commerce business now, I think it's the perfect time because nobody wants to step out to buy anything anymore. They want everything delivered, right? So you can either do Chinese suppliers or American suppliers or whatever. It's just people are gonna get lazier, right? Especially after taking a 2 or 3 week break at home, they are going to get lazy, and then you just got to capitalize on an opportunity. And now, you got to use some right angles and you got to sell the right products. That's really important. Like your unicorn socks may not sell that effectively anymore because of everything that's going on. No one wants to buy unicorns anymore, right? But if you're selling survival stuff, you're selling any products that have survival benefits, right?
Don't go into survival space, please. No one. No,
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It's the worst niche right now. You can't make it.
Just creating competition.
The day when everything was okay, and Jose still doesn't want me to come into his
right.
space.
And don't even sell an e-commerce course.
At all.
It's not doing well right now. E-commerce courses are not doing very well, so don't sell an
Yeah,
e-commerce.
exactly. Make sure not to mention coronavirus in any of your marketing.
Yeah,
it reminds me of like when Frank Kern was teaching everyone how to do things online. He had a parrot how to teach better how to talk business, and then everybody just like flooded the market. And he's like, my business doesn't exist anymore because everybody just started doing it. Was
it Kern that came up with the underwater basket weaving thing? So it's like everyone was alone.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that's his example in every single thing now.
Underwater basket weaving.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kern is probably the best at like making things simple, right? Because I remember he had the sales video where he was just like, hey, I got sued by the FTC and here's how I made a comeback. And I decided to do this in a niche business and I made a bunch of money with it. And everyone's like, okay, this guy's onto something. Let's buy his stuff, right? So he's really good at it. I don't know about the content now, man. I did buy a course from Kern. Well, I got it as a bonus to the Cardone Kern webinar. It was too long for me. I have very minimal attention span. So I'm like,
it is long.
Kern is really good as far as like sounding casual and making things sound easy, but there's a lot of pre-thought of and everything he says on a sales message.
Yeah,
he's doing the same thing for a reason.
Did you guys watch that webinar with Cardone and Kern?
I did. I loved it. Actually.
Man, Cardone just totally fucked it all up. Because like you could see Kern had like scripts, like everything was like just like Jose is saying, like super thought out. And then Cardone's like, "What's this?" And he just like goes off the cuff for like an hour, no thought or anything put into it. He just riffs. So just two completely different strategies. And I've heard that about Kern is like, actually, it ruined internet marketing for me when I found out that Kern is actually like really introverted and actually kind of awkward in person. Because
Oh, is that right?
yeah, he's totally not that guy online, right? But that's just a very well crafted character that he's always playing.
I
But his
actually
courses
got
are
that
really
from
good.
Cameron, actually. I remember I was talking to Cameron once and I was like, yo, you went to that mentorship or something with Kern. How did that go? He's like, well, he's a very introverted guy, doesn't talk much. I'm like, geez, you know
Yeah,
what?
that's where I heard it from, and I was like, "Fuck you!" It's like telling me Santa ain't real, man. Fuck you.
Yeah. No, but I mean, look, I think Kern's methods do work, but dude, Cardone makes more money. Like he's the guy that put 35,000 people in the stadium. That does take quite some effort. And even if you look at Agora guys, they're not doing much target marketing from what I can tell. With them, it's more of, okay, here's exactly what we're going after, which is they have a demographic set up, but there's not a lot of, okay, this is Bob, we're going to talk to Bob kind of stuff. It's more of, okay, well, here's the big idea that could bring them on board and let's just make a bunch of money with it. I mean, that's what I think. You guys wrote copy for Agora, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's more. Yeah, it's very clear on like the demographic. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they have it in house. It's like they. I think I heard at Money Map they do, where it's like they're always writing to one specific guy. But I haven't heard so much about the other ones. But yeah, I mean for like what I know about like making money online, I would just say if you can help people right now make money, then it's kind of like your duty to do so. And that's just kind of like my feeling on it. And I would say, I personally don't think that like selling more information right now is what you should be doing. People will buy it. Like if you kind of craft it in a way that says, I mean, you could have an angle right now that's talking about like coronavirus is going to shut everything down. You're getting paid to be off of work. Now is the perfect time for you to study up on a strategy so that when everything is cool, then you can go out and launch it and crush it with it. Whereas I don't really like, you could make a lot of sales with that, but I would say like, fucking give them something that's actionable. Like one of the things that we just did, and it's got a good story around it. So I'll tell you this. It doesn't sound like another pitch, but the crew had an event that kicked off on last Friday, like right when everything was going to shit, right? It was an event that was planned back in January, so we had no idea this was going to happen. And the whole purpose of the event was to prospect and get sales. So everyone, like 30 people show up to this event on Friday, and it's like, fuck, like nobody's going to be buying anything, like buying local marketing services right now. So what they did was they pivoted the offer right on the spot. So instead of selling what they were going to sell, they made a deal and they sold a $500. So the business owner gives them $500, and then they do the marketing work for them. When that business owner starts to make money, it's $500 up front, 10% of the back end. When the business owner starts to make money, they give them the 10%. They get their money back through the 10%, right? So it's kind of like they've given them the money as a loan almost. And that offer crushed it. They closed like 15G in sales at the event. So then our marketing pitch, the stuff in our copy is like the story of like, that is what happened. Everything was crumbling. Business owners still bought this offer, even though everything was crumbling. And now we're going to do this online with you and show you how to do it and instruct you just like you had come to the event with us. So that's our pitch, right? So it's like we use that as a system that we know that'll work when everything is crashing and it'll get you a result. And we're putting them through a process to put money in their pocket now. And that's the same with our other offer. Same idea. Join us and we're going to actively help you pivot your offers to fucking crush it through this thing instead of just sitting there and watching The Office for the third run through, which is what like people are bragging about, which drives me crazy. It's like, what Netflix series are you watching? Like, dude, the world is fucking crumbling. It doesn't matter like how much money you have in the bank. What if hyperinflation hits and like all your money is gone? Justin Goff just sent out an email yesterday that said that he lost $600K in the stock market since the crash.
Wow. Like, unless you're watching The Walking Dead or Outbreak or something that's actually might have some educational value.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Jose will make you feel better about your binging. Watching Pandemic or some crap.
Watching Contagion or something like that.
Dude, think of it. Launch a course on how to kill zombies, and that would probably do well. It probably
would.
Yeah.
You could be an asshole and pivot this into like how the coronavirus is exhibiting this one thing that's going to show that may turn into this thing where people turn into zombies and like.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. I could be a zombie killer king too next. Who the fuck knows? Oh,
You
hey,
could,
you got a product from China. You just touched it, so now we're gonna turn into a zombie.
those are good memes, though.
What?
Those would be good
Yeah.
memes.
Yeah. No, dude, memes are the shit, man. I gotta say, like I've been testing multiple memes lately. It's crazy, and I always knew they were powerful, right? But I realized how powerful they were when I spoke to Vito Blazers. I was speaking to Vito, and he's like, dude, like all we do is post memes for political connections and stuff. I go onto Twitter. The only thing people are doing is posting memes. Fucking top people. You look at Donald Trump Jr. That's all he's fucking doing, posting memes.
Is that right?
Yeah, dude, his Instagram is a complete troll account. Like you look at his Instagram, it's full of fucking memes.
Right.
Well, everyone's waking up, and I think it's very logical too, because people have very low attention spans now, and you got to get their attention. I don't think there's anything else that's better than a meme to do it, right? So yeah, so a lot of e-com memes on the way. Once I positioned myself, of course, because now I'm like the meme king. Nobody even knows I do any e-commerce anymore. So I'm like, well, might as well slow down on that. But yeah, guys, so this has gone on for like what, an hour?
Yeah, over an hour.
This was fun though. This was fun. We gotta do something like this the next time something like Corona hits. You never.
I'm on. I've been thinking of releasing a podcast called like Conspiracy of the Week and just tackle some things like some of the conspiracies I've heard in the prepper boards about this whole thing. Just we would spend 3 hours just going through them.
Well, hold on. So, conspiracy of the week. So you were going to do it and attack the conspiracy, or you were going to
No, like legit. Like I would go like Joe Rogan style. Like, oh, let's evaluate this for real. Let's see what are the it would, like, for instance, I'll bring like a flat Earth person and say, okay, what are you arguments? And then and try to debunk them or try to see if I get convinced. Like legit, look at them.
right?
Because some of them you're like, huh. But some of them you're like, this is wacko, right? So.
See, my hotel story is why I never listened to conspiracy theories, because like you would just have no understanding of anything. How could you possibly be like, well, this is what's going? It's like, dude, Ace, your post where you dance puppets dance with like, do you think this is do you think it was bats or do you think it was made in a lab? I don't know. It looked like the majority of people were saying that thing was made in a lab, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, all these scientists all over the world, like virologists, all these people are like, this shows nothing that it was made in a lab, right? But then here's all these assholes on fucking Facebook that watch some YouTube video that are like, I'm convinced. And
they're
now it's
Facebook
like,
experts, man. Facebook experts.
Yeah, cover up for 5G, and it's like,
I got the craziest. The craziest I got was like it was created by the Democrats, but to take down Trump, and because it kills old people, and old people vote Republican. I was like, wow, that's a stretch.
Yeah. I have no opinion on how that was made. Fraser calls me a politician. He's like, you're one of the most politically correct people, so I'll probably stick to that. I have no opinion, guys. Maybe it's made in a lab, maybe it's not. I don't know.
No, you're wrong. Everyone's an asshole. It was fucking.
Just listen to the doctors. Yeah. Let's
go on the rant here. So everyone used Zero Hedge as that dude who was like, oh, he got banned from social media for speaking the truth because he doxed a random scientist in China, like exposed all of his address and everything and blamed him as the person who unleashed the virus. And then the conspiracy theorists are like, you see, they're keeping him down because he's telling the truth. It's like, dude, scientists are saying that there's like, we're not smart enough to make a virus as advanced as that. And it's not just one scientist. If it was one scientist, I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe he's paid. All scientists all over the world are being like, we are not smart enough to create this virus. So it's like, how are these? Anyways, pisses me off. Can't have an opinion. You can't have that strong of an opinion on this thing.
No.
I have no opinion. I mean, I do have an opinion. You're just not going to hear it ever.
Are you against me, Ace? Are you a?
I mean, I can't deny it. I can't accept it.
Made in the lab.
I'm just being a political.
I'll never forgive you for this.
I'm just being a political person.
I'll never forget you.
But I have a question before we end this to you guys, right? So if you guys weren't internet marketers, what would you probably be?
I'd be crying in a corner right now. That's for sure.
What?
I'd be crying in a corner.
If I was in internet marketer, I mean, I would still be. I mean, I'd probably be doing still like eBay stuff, like just selling stuff that, or something like that.
Yeah.
Straight eBay, like, or flipping, like trying to get like. Although I couldn't go out and get anything now, like.
Is that what you did before?
Yeah, that's how I got my start, like my college beer money back in the early days of eBay. Well, no, I don't know how early. It was 2019, like 2001, 2002.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
12 years old then. So.
Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. So that was in college those years, and it was fun. It was good. We didn't have to make a lot of money to get by, so we were just like, all right, let's sell. We sell like a lot of like compatible ink cartridges and toners. Those were the money makers.
Pretty dope.
Yeah. If I was an internet marketer right now, I'd probably be just trying to figure out, because it's hard with like the awareness spectrum, right? Like if you don't know, then you don't know, so you don't know how to solve your problem. But I would just be trying to scour for something to make money, because it's like that's the only thing. I think that's the only thing you can do right now. Like I don't know what's going to happen, but if you can try and just make as much money as you can to ride out the storm, that's like your only solution.
That's funny. My wife is a dog trainer. But she was an attorney, and now she's a dog trainer. Long story, but I've been trying to get her to do virtual classes forever, and she hasn't. And it's just like kind of had to do it like over the last couple of like week and a half, and she's loving it. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna switch all of this. I don't even have to leave the living room." It's just like loving it, and it's like, yeah, people who teach stuff, they have the perfect opportunity to scale really a lot of their stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Lucas was talking. Lucas Rashevsky, and if you go check out his webinar on it, because he had some good points. But he's like, pretty much we're seeing like a government mandated social experiment that's happening all over the globe that's forcing people to work from home or find a solution to work from home. Like, and even all these businesses that are forced to allow their employees to work from home are now having to admit that, like, yeah, you could do your job from home this entire time, and we've just been making you come into an office. So it'll be interesting. One article that I saw that was actually kind of terrifying for all of us internet marketers is the internet might not be able to handle this amount of people all at one time, all working from home. So that's terrifying. Anyways.
And my kids streaming Frozen for the 5th time since Sunday.
Has it?
Well, like Disney released a bunch of movies, and they're being binge watching some. So they're just eating up my broadband.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
I don't really know what I would be if I wasn't an internet marketer. I think I do a pretty good job at being an internet marketer, at being a coach and consultant. But I think what would fit my goals is probably being an actor, man. Like you get to be ripped, you get the chicks, you get the fame. I think it's just perfect, right? So I'd probably try to be an actor if I wasn't.
I mean, you're not magically ripped and fit if you're an actor. You have to work out, right?
Yeah, you have to, but you at least have the motivation to, right? Because you're on camera and shit. Like, for example, like I was really not on camera a long time ago, right? Like I'm always the guy behind the computer and stuff. But these days, especially when I'm on the camera, it's like I stick a lot to my diets because I want to look good. I don't want to look bad on the camera. So I think if I was an actor, I'd probably work super hard on getting ripped and just maintaining that sort of image. And I think that's a great thing. I think that's sort of a personal development thing on its own.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say on your pictures that you'd be a gun runner, like Nicolas Cage in that movie.
Yeah.
What movie was that called again? That was a great movie.
Fuck. They called fuck.
It was based on a true story.
Someone commented the name of the movie too on the picture, actually. Yeah, but I'd be a good drug dealer, man. I mean, I probably would be. Yeah,
you seem like
not that I want the CIA on my ass, but I'm just saying.
You're hustling. That's your game, is that you're a hustler.
Yeah, because I'm quick too, right? I'm
right.
pretty quick in doing things. So I think it's a very valuable asset in that niche. I think Jose's internet just went out.
I was going to say something earlier, though. This would be something to wind up with. Not to say this is like the greatest thought in the world, but one of the things about you is the way that you're able to approach people. You were saying like how you move quick, but it's because I don't know what it is, but you've branded yourself in a specific way that it's excusable. So, kind of comparing, I would, I say things like I call people assholes all the time and you're a prick, and nobody takes it seriously because I say it all the time. Whereas if someone who is just like always calm, if he said the same thing, it'd be like, holy fuck, like what's wrong with that guy, right? So it's like you've made the market immune to like kind of your behavior, which allows you to operate in the way you do. If I just started like cold messaging people all of a sudden saying the same things you did, people will be like, who the fuck is this guy? Right. But so it has been, I don't even know how much of it's been by design versus how much just the way that you naturally operate. But it does allow you to get away with what you do.
It's actually pretty simple. I actually covered in a course of mine. So I call this the pre-frame. So the way it works is that you figure out exactly what you intend to do, and then you make it excusable. The way not just excusable, you make it the right thing to do. So for example, if I want to pitch someone, I'm probably going to write a post on Facebook saying everybody needs to start pitching people. If you're not pitching, you're just a bad guy, right? And then I pitch people. It's not really that big of a surprise anymore. So that's really what I do. So if I'm planning on making a move, or if I'm planning to do something, I'll probably write a post asking everyone else to do the same. So it kind of normalizes that sort of behavior. So it's like, okay, well, he's right. You should probably do that too. And then I message people and they're like, yeah, I'll give you that testimonial. Yeah, I'll give you that shout out. And
that's genius. Yeah. So let's end it there, because that'll be a great open loop for the teaser bullet and the copy for this video.
I think so too. Yeah.
Again. Yeah. Oh, you're still on? I thought you got disconnected or something.
They have to leave.
Yeah, I'm on. I got around, but yeah, I'm still listening. But yeah, that the pre-framing, I think that's gold.
Yeah, that's a smart idea, dude.
That's all I do, bro. That's all I do. If you look at my Facebook, that's all I do. So like I pre-frame the whole you can steal memes thing. I steal a meme from someone, they're excited I stole the meme from them. They're like, oh, you stole the meme from me. I must have confused. I'm like, yeah, awesome. That's how you set it up. But with that said, guys, this has been a great, what do you call this? A summit, a video, a hangout, a podcast? What is
It's a hangout. Hangout? Yeah. We did a virtual happy hour the other day. So it was kind of like that, but just minus the drinks, but just talk business and
well, I'm 4 drinks.
Interact.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm 4 drinks in.
This is a video-based audio nar, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna jump on video without having a drink, man. That's not gonna happen, Like if I'm on the video without having a drink, I'm like, okay, is my hair okay? That's wrong.
Yeah,
I've got to calm myself a bit, right? So with that said, yeah, guys, this has been fun. We should do another one when the next.
Yeah, let's do another one.
Yeah. It should be in a few months' time, because the way 2020 is turning out, it's pretty crazy. We had the World War. Then we had the Australian fire.
the 1 week World War.
Yeah, we bombed by Iran. We bombed by Iran in January. Don't you remember?
Yeah.
The U.S. bombed Iran in January.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had the 1 week World War. It was amazing.
Yeah. Then we had the fires, and then we have the corona.
I think that's the big problem that with people not whatever opinion you have on the coronavirus. I think a lot of people aren't taking it seriously because the media just hyped World War III for a fucking week. And
it's true.
It's like Never Cry Wolf. It's like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to listen to now? That was one of the reasons I was like a denier for a long time, I'll have to admit. Anyways,
all right. This has been fun. See you guys next time, all right?
All right, take care. Thank you, Ace. See you, James.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah.
Yes.